You didn't need it anyway, my father remarked, his tone nonchalant as it echoed through my phone's speaker, as if he hadn't just confessed to pilfering my entire college fund. Moreover, what has been accomplished is now in the past. There's no use in becoming upset about it at this stage. My name is Lena, and at the age of 25, I found myself in my small London apartment, absorbing my father's explanation for why he had emptied the account meant to support my final year of college, the very fund I had painstakingly accumulated through scholarships, part-time jobs, and diligent savings since my high school days. What remains? I maintained a calm tone, even as my hands trembled. Departed? There's nothing remaining, my dear. I needed to settle some debts. Rest assured. You possess great intelligence. You'll discover a solution. Determine a solution, as if I had any say in the matter. As if he hadn't just taken 4 years of my dedication while I was overseas, powerless to intervene because he had stayed a cosigner on the account I had opened at 17. I understand, I replied softly. Wishing you the best of fortune with that endeavor. That's my girl, he responded, misinterpreting my tranquility as agreement. Forever grounded, much like your father from days gone by. I must take my leave now. Gathering with a few friends for some drinks. Our conversation will resume shortly. Gathering with friends for a few drinks. Using my funds, the path that lies ahead of me. I settled into my modest desk, gazing out at the London street that had captured my heart during my semester abroad. Only 3 months remained before I would have to make my way back home. 3 months spent unraveling the complexities of salvaging my senior year, all because my own father had unexpectedly pulled the rug out from beneath me. Once more, my phone vibrated with a persistent buzz. This time, a message from him. Please keep this between us and refrain from sharing it with your mother or grandmother. There's no reason to cause them any concern. Certainly, he wished to keep it hidden from them. As he had wished to keep his gambling debts, his unsuccessful business endeavors, and his habit of borrowing money without repayment hidden from them. As I flipped open my laptop, I set about crafting a list. Initially, we must focus on the documentation. Statements from the bank detailing the account's journey, evidence of my contributions, and documentation of the scholarships I had received. Next, delve into your research, resources pertaining to legal matters. Opportunities for financial assistance. Opportunities for part-time employment. My father consistently undervalued my potential, viewing me merely as his contingency option. It's fortunate you're attractive, he would remark when I presented my straight A's, as though my scholarly accomplishments held less weight than my looks. If college doesn't pan out, there's always the option of marrying into wealth. Yet, I had not toiled so diligently, nor journeyed this distance, only to allow him to obstruct my destiny. He believed I was being sensible as I quietly acquiesced to his act of thievery. He remained blissfully unaware that practicality was precisely what he ought to dread. In the days that followed, I slowly unraveled the full measure of his treachery. The account contained a little more than $42,000, funds I had accumulated through academic scholarships, summer employment, and meticulous financial planning. My father had meticulously extracted every last bit in a sequence of transfers throughout the month, each one carefully calculated to evade any immediate suspicion. One evening, my roommate Tara stumbled upon me amidst a sea of bank statements. "What did your father do?" she exclaimed, peering over my shoulder as I read. "Isn't it possible to report him for theft?" I clarified that the account still bore his name. He possessed every legal right to gain access to it. I never imagined he would truly go through with it. I ought to have been wiser, to have recalled how he had taken my birthday money during my youth, perpetually vowing to return it yet failing to do so time and again, how he had attempted to persuade me to secure additional student loans under my name. He asserted that he would assist me in settling the debts. My phone incessantly vibrated with messages from him. "Release your concerns about finances, you tend to overthink. Perhaps this indicates it's time for you to step back from your studies. I'm acquainted with a few individuals who could secure you a modeling opportunity, offering compensation that surpasses what that degree would yield." Every message unveiled the depths of his disregard for my education, my independence, and my future. To him, I was merely a tool to be used, a fallback for his misguided decisions. I began reaching out, contacting my university's financial aid office, legal aid services, and my grandmother, who had always championed my academic aspirations. I haven't revealed all the details just yet. I've merely collected information and evaluated my choices. As I sat in class, my father's next call arrived. Greetings, dear princess. I have a brief inquiry. Do you perchance possess any additional savings accounts? I was just curious, considering your remarkable knack for managing finances. The nonchalant arrogance in his voice ignited a fire within me, yet I maintained a breezy demeanor. What prompts your inquiry? Ah, it's nothing really, just contemplating your future, as fathers often do. Contemplating my future, reminiscent of his actions when he depleted my college fund, reminiscent of his attempts to dissuade me from pursuing studies abroad, asserting that I was escaping family responsibilities. Apologies, Dad. I'm currently in class, let's chat later. I ended the call and flipped open my laptop, jotting down yet another task on my ever-expanding list. Shut down any lingering accounts he may be aware of, move all assets to new accounts at an alternate bank. As the sun dipped below the horizon, an email from my grandmother landed in my inbox. I reached out to your father today. He appeared anxious when I inquired about your college fund. Is all well? A smile graced my lips. Envisioning his unease, he had always harbored a fear of my grandmother, the sole individual who had ever managed to hold him accountable. May we engage in a conversation? I responded in writing. There is a crucial piece of information you ought to be aware of. My grandmother's reaction was swift and intense. Upon learning the entire tale, she convened an urgent family gathering, excluding my father from the proceedings. That man, she seethed during our video call, with my mother and aunt flanking her, has crossed the line this time, robbing his own daughter? I observed their expressions as I revealed the bank statements, the text messages, the nonchalant manner in which he had brushed aside my future. My mother's hands quivered as she perused his messages. I had no idea, she whispered. He mentioned that you had chosen to step away from your studies, contemplating a return to your hometown. Indeed, he had. My father possessed a remarkable talent for weaving tales that aligned perfectly with his desires. How often had he reshaped my accomplishments to center them around himself? How frequently had he claimed my achievements as his own while covertly sabotaging them? I have been meticulously recording every detail, I informed them. Each withdrawal, each message, each call. I refused to allow him to escape the consequences of his actions. My aunt, a lawyer, inclined her body slightly forward. The account issue presents a challenge, given his role as a cosigner, yet there may be alternative avenues we can explore. Has he provided any written assurances regarding the repayment of the funds? I retrieved additional screenshots and emails in which he had recognized that the funds were intended for my education, along with texts where he had nonchalantly alluded to the idea of repaying me in the future. Perfect, my aunt declared. While it may lack legal weight, it serves as formidable leverage for the forthcoming developments. What comes next? My mother inquired. Then, my grandmother proclaimed, we shall make Raymond fully comprehend the consequences of his actions and the impact they have had on others. The strategy coalesced with remarkable speed. My grandmother would take the initiative, making it clear to him that the family was fully aware of his actions. My aunt would compose a formal demand letter, outlining his choices for making restitution. At long last, my mother would take the step to file for the divorce she had long contemplated but never acted upon. My grandmother remarked that he has consistently underestimated you. He regarded you as an extension of himself rather than as an individual in your own right. It's time to reveal your true self to him. Once more, my father reached out that night. He spoke gently, noting that his grandmother appeared troubled today. You didn't share a word with her, did you? What is it about, Dad? The college fund that you took without permission? The future you attempted to obstruct? Or perhaps it's your overarching conviction that your daughter's education pales in significance to your bar tab? There was nothing but silence on his end. Then, at this moment, dear princess, refrain from addressing me as princess. Please refrain from calling me. From this moment forward, all matters shall pass through Aunt Monica. Monica, what is the reason for your aunt's involvement? It's because she's a lawyer, Dad. And soon, you will find yourself in need of one as well. My father's response unfolded just as I had anticipated. Initially, there was denial, followed by a surge of anger. At last, the futile endeavors of manipulation emerge. "You're making a bigger deal out of this than it really is," he texted. "It was merely currency. Family holds greater significance than wealth." I sent each message along to my aunt, choosing not to reply, allow him to continue excavating his own pit. He decided to appear at my grandmother's house, the place I was residing until my flight back to London. She barred his way at the front porch. "How dare you?" she demanded, her voice rising to ensure the neighbors could not miss her outrage. "Taking your daughter's college savings? Do you not feel any sense of shame?" "Mother, please," he attempted to soften his tone. "This concerns the family." "Precisely. You have turned your back on your own kin. Depart at once, or I shall be compelled to summon the authorities." He departed. Yet, the narrative pressed on. "Your grandmother has turned you against me. I am your father. Respect is something you owe me. After all that I have sacrificed for you?" I reflected on all that he had truly done for me, how he had attempted to undermine my scholarly accomplishments, how he had taken my childhood savings. He had regarded my success as a resource to exploit at his convenience. The demand letter from my aunt found its way to his residence through the reliable channel of certified mail. Within lay a meticulous record of each cent he had appropriated, accompanied by various avenues for restitution. "You can't sue your own father," he exclaimed, his voice laced with disbelief. "Watch me," I replied, then ended the call. The familial discord unfolded in a truly dramatic fashion. Family members I hadn't heard from in ages reached out to convey their disapproval. My Aunt Helen, his sister, recounted tales of how he had also taken money from the birthday cards of her children. "He's always been this way," she remarked, claiming what doesn't belong to him, anticipating that everyone will overlook his actions simply because he's family. My mother has taken the significant step of filing for divorce, pointing to financial infidelity, among other factors. In the course of their initial hearing, the recurring theme of his theft from me was unveiled. "You drained your daughter's college savings to settle your gambling debts?" the judge inquired, disbelief etched across their face. "I intended to repay it," he murmured, his voice barely rising above a whisper. "With what funds?" "These statements indicate that you have not maintained a consistent job for the past 3 years." The meticulously crafted facade of the jovial, benevolent father was beginning to disintegrate. Each effort to justify his actions only unveiled deeper layers of his authentic self. The financial aid office at the university revealed itself to be unexpectedly supportive once they grasped the circumstances at hand. They assisted me in obtaining emergency funding and devised a payment plan for my final year. My grandmother was determined to shield what she could, yet I found myself reluctant to embrace her efforts. "Unlike your father," she stated with conviction, "I recognize the importance of education and the significance of honoring commitments." My father's reaction to the demand letter was to assert his financial destitution, maintaining that he had no means to return what he had taken. Subsequently, my aunt unearthed his recent acquisition of a new car, the vacation snapshots he had shared on social media, and the country club membership he inexplicably continued to uphold. She clarified that he isn't lacking in funds. He possesses a certain skill in concealing assets, yet it falls short of true mastery. His text messages became more and more frantic. "Your actions are destroying my existence. My own daughter betraying me in such a manner. I nurtured you with higher expectations than this." With every message, his true colors began to emerge more vividly. The facade of the devoted father crumbled, exposing the cunning manipulator lurking beneath. The ultimate breaking point arrived when he attempted to sway my younger cousins, whispering to them that I was plotting to ruin him financially out of sheer malice. Instead, they provided screenshots of his messages, contributing to my expanding collection of evidence. "Do you recall the moment when Uncle Greg assured us that our college funds were secure in his hands?" My cousin Owen penned a piece. "It seems we have clarity on the implications of that." My aunt intervened, ensuring they established their own accounts before he had the chance to strike once more. The insidious pattern of his financial abuse was gradually coming to light, revealing itself through the voices of each family member. As my mother's divorce unfolded, additional revelations came to light. For years, he had concealed his financial maneuvers, securing loans under her name and even attempting to remortgage their home without her awareness. My mother came to the unsettling realization that he had been treating the entire family as if we were his personal ATM, while we continued to conjure up excuses for his behavior. Once more, my grandmother orchestrated a family gathering, this time without his presence. Family members recounted tales of loans left unpaid, vows unfulfilled, and trust shattered. Every narrative fortified our determination to ensure he faced the consequences of his actions. My aunt remarked that he has consistently relied on the bonds of family loyalty to protect him from facing the repercussions of his actions. It's time to demonstrate that loyalty is a two-way street. The repercussions struck my father as if a line of dominoes had tumbled one after another. Initially, my mother's divorce attorney revealed his concealed accounts, resulting in a settlement far exceeding his expectations. Subsequently, my aunt's legal insistence compelled him to consent to a repayment plan for the funds that were taken from me, inclusive of interest. The meticulously crafted image of the generous, fun-loving father shattered entirely when the family discovered he had been soliciting funds from elderly relatives, assuring them of returns on investments that ultimately proved illusory. A typical Ponzi scheme, my aunt murmured, as she continued to compile her mounting collection of findings. His text messages transformed from fury to desperation. "I remain your father. Together, we can find a solution to this. All of us stumble at times. Why is it so hard for you to let go of this? How will others perceive you when you treat your father in this manner?" I reflected on the countless instances where he wielded guilt as a weapon against me, how he manipulated each circumstance to cast himself as the victim. Not any longer. Thanks to my grandmother's connections, I landed a part-time job that enabled me to pursue my degree while balancing work. My professors, recognizing my circumstances, assisted me in organizing a more adaptable schedule. Each minor triumph seemed to draw him further away from the grip of his influence. I was taken aback by the family's support. Cousins recounted their own tales of his financial deceit. Aunts and uncles who had once supported his actions now stood resolutely opposed, while even distant relatives extended their hands in encouragement. One evening, my grandmother shared that your father had called, urging her to persuade you against the repayment plan, claiming it was tearing the family apart. What words did you share with him? He brought about its destruction himself when he took from his own daughter. His final effort at manipulation came when he appeared at my graduation, uninvited and unwelcome, yet resolute in assuming the guise of a proud father. "That's my girl," he proclaimed with a voice that carried, drawing the attention of all around, inheriting her sharp business acumen from me. Before the ceremony commenced, my Aunt Monica had him escorted out. "Your success is yours alone," she said to me later. He cannot take credit for what he attempted to avert. A year following the clash regarding my misappropriated college fund, the meticulously built world of my father had utterly disintegrated. The divorce had laid bare his financial machinations for all to see. Once close companions who had poured their resources into his entrepreneurial endeavors were now seeking clarity. Family members from whom he had borrowed were initiating legal proceedings. The graduation party, orchestrated by my grandmother, transformed into a celebration that honored not only my academic success but also my newfound independence. Friends and family came together to offer their support, with many recounting their own experiences of confronting manipulative parents. During the party, my mother mentioned that your father called me yesterday. "I would like to discuss the possibility of discontinuing the repayment plan with you. He claimed to have learned his lesson." "Has he indeed?" I inquired, my mind drifting to his most recent social media updates. "He continues to live beyond his means, continuing to feign that all was well." She let out a weary sigh. "He has come to realize that his attempts to manipulate you are no longer effective." That is not equivalent. The repayment plan orchestrated by my aunt was decidedly stringent, consistent deductions from his earnings, with no room for excuses. He had ultimately been compelled to secure a legitimate position when his plans ran their course. His former way of life had become unsustainable, now that no one was willing to extend him credit. It was an injustice, he had lamented in his final correspondence. "I am your father, it is expected that you love me without conditions. Love isn't a blank check, I replied, marking the end of our direct exchanges. Conditions arise when trust is broken. My career was soaring to new heights. I had landed a role with a prestigious firm in London, my degree and unwavering resolve unlocking opportunities one had previously deemed unattainable. Every triumph tasted all the more delightful for being achieved solely by my own design. My grandmother emerged as my most formidable ally, her fierce protection standing in sharp relief to my father's self-serving affection. During our Sunday dinner, she mentioned that he had called again, inquired whether you had secured that position in London, expressing a desire to visit once you've made yourself at home. Should one seek a visit or request financial assistance? I inquired, fully aware of what the response would be. Likely both. I informed him that you will no longer be supporting his way of life. The dynamics within the family had irrevocably transformed. Family members who had previously supported his actions now voiced concerns regarding his recent plans. My Aunt Helen, his sister, had initiated a family group chat solely to monitor his endeavors at manipulation. One day, she recounted how he had attempted to persuade my son to co-sign a car loan. I informed him that it would assist in enhancing his credit score. Does that ring a bell? Indeed, it did. At 18, he employed the same strategy with me, seeking to burden me with debt before I had even embarked on my college journey. In those days, my grandmother had stepped in, intercepting the paperwork and cautioning me about the predatory practices that could arise, even from within the family. As I observed his realm diminish while mine grew, I experienced not triumph, but a profound sense of affirmation. Each payment he rendered, compelled by legal obligations rather than a sense of fatherly duty, confirmed what I had always understood. He possessed the ability to act with integrity, he simply never considered that he would need to. My success had transformed into a shield of sorts. With each accomplishment, his influence over my future diminished. The degree he had attempted to sabotage now proudly adorned my wall. Every achievement stands as a testament that his most significant error was not the theft of my money, but rather the misjudgment of my determination. My return to London signified the beginning of a new chapter. The company had presented me with more than mere employment, they had extended a chance at a future I had painstakingly crafted, even in the face of my father's efforts to undermine it. My modest apartment in the city transformed into a beacon of autonomy. Financed by my own resources, adorned with my personal style, untainted by any sway he may attempt to assert, his efforts to keep in touch grew ever more evident. Initially arrived the birthday card, the first he had dispatched in years, adorned with a thoughtfully composed message expressing his pride in our accomplishments. Did you notice the way he signed it? My mother inquired during our phone conversation. With all my love, Dad, your greatest champion. The sheer boldness of that man. Then emerged the social media posts, featuring old family photos with captions that spoke of his unwavering support for my dreams. Every post meticulously crafted to portray him as the devoted father who had given up everything for his daughter's triumph. My Aunt Monica assisted me in crafting a cease and desist letter when the posts intensified to allegations regarding his financial involvement in my education. She explained that he is attempting to alter the narrative, ensuring there is documentation that contradicts his claims. His reply unfolded as expected, laden with further attempts at manipulation, reiterated assertions of familial allegiance, and veiled allusions to his monetary woes. Yet his words no longer held the ability to wound me. Whispers among relatives revealed the details of his most recent plots. He began to weave tales of his connections in London, hinting that he could assist their children in discovering opportunities overseas. Every effort to capitalize on my achievements unraveled when they reached out to confirm his assertions. A family friend mentioned that your father said you're looking to hire at your firm. He graciously proposed to speak favorably on behalf of my daughter, naturally for a modest consulting fee. I responded by clarifying that my father held no ties to my firm, exerted no influence over hiring decisions, and had no authority to demand fees for unfulfilled promises. Every reply seemed to add another brick to the barrier separating his deceptions from my reality. My grandmother made her way to London, embarking on her inaugural journey overseas at the age of 70. Viewing my existence through her perspective, the profession I had crafted, the dwelling I had established, the future I had ensured, completed the narrative beautifully. Do you know what fills me with the greatest pride? She asked during our dinner at my favorite local pub. It's not solely about your accomplishments, but the journey you took to reach them. You refused to let him sow bitterness in your heart. Instead, you emerged more resilient. As the evening unfolded, another message from him arrived on my screen. I hear your mother is coming to visit. The apartment must feel quite tight. If you need assistance with the costs, I can recommend some excellent hotels. I shared the message with my grandmother, and together we erupted in laughter. The familiar strategies, now as clear as crystal, revealed themselves to me in all their simplicity. Ought I to reply? I inquired, despite being fully aware of the response that awaited me. Darling, she said, lifting her glass, your success is all the answer he requires. 2 years following the clash regarding my misappropriated college fund, my father's repayment scheme remained active, each monthly installment serving as a testament to his responsibility. He had attempted numerous strategies to lessen or postpone the payments, yet my aunt's legal vigilance stood resolute. At a family gathering in my hometown, my cousin Owen recounted his personal triumph. He had completed his studies without the burden of debt, his college funds safely tucked away in an account that remained beyond my father's reach. Your dramatic response regarding your fund has prompted me to express my gratitude, as it has provided him with a valuable lesson. Did he truly learn, however? I inquired, reflecting on his recent efforts to persuade family members to back his new business endeavor. He learned not to target family members who have good lawyers, my Aunt Monica interjected. That sums it up. My career thrived and blossomed further. I had been elevated to a senior position within the firm. My reputation was forged through the unwavering attention to detail and relentless determination that enabled me to rise above my father's betrayal. The Christmas card found its way to my London flat, laden with an artificial cheer and subtle allusions to his monetary woes. Within, he had inscribed, still bearing the weight of a single misstep, when will you release it? I affixed it to my bulletin board, right beside my degree and the letter announcing my latest promotion, reminders that his singular misstep would not dictate the course of my future. His signature at the bottom, once an emblem of paternal authority, now appeared precisely as it was, a testament to a man who had wagered against his daughter's strength and emerged the loser. During the annual charity gala hosted by my firm, I was invited to share my thoughts on the themes of persistence and the journey of overcoming obstacles. I refrained from directly referencing my father. Instead, I recounted the moment I discovered my college fund had vanished, framing it not as a tale of betrayal, but as an insightful lesson in self-reliance. At times, I shared with the audience, those who ought to be your greatest supporters transform into the very hurdles you must navigate. Their lack of faith fuels your drive. My father came across the speech online, shared by someone in the family group chat from which he had been excluded. His reply arrived via my grandmother. She remains furious, leveraging my error to draw attention. No, my grandmother had responded. She thrives, harnessing her strength to uplift those around her. A distinction exists. On a Tuesday, the last payment from my father came through, marking the conclusion of the funds he had taken. A note had been affixed by him. Can we reunite as a family once more? I meticulously organized the receipt alongside my other documents, the bank statements, the relentless texts, the social media posts where he attempted to alter the narrative. Not out of necessity, but as a testament to the journey I had undertaken. My mother, now joyfully remarried, expressed it perfectly. He believed that by seizing your money, he could ensure your reliance on him. Rather, it liberated you. She was indeed correct. Each effort he exerted to restrain me only propelled me further ahead. His most profound punishment lay not in the repayment plan or the disapproval of his family. It observed my triumph, transcending his presence, surpassing his influence, in defiance of him.